And welcome to this dedication and ribbon cutting ceremony for new Fire Station 21 here in the great city of Manassas, Virginia. I am William Garrett, the System Fire Chief, and I will be your MC today. And I want to start off by acknowledging that, okay, we understand from a social distancing, CDC recommendations just changed last night, what the governor has called us to do, that we're in a better posture today than we was before. So I'm going to relax a little bit of the social distancing requirements today. If you prefer to wear your mask, please do. But if you don't, just be mindful of kind of where we are. Okay? That works. So today is a very important day for us as we take a collective step as we increase our effectiveness to carrying out our mission here in the City of Manassas Fire and Rescue Department. And that mission is to protect the lives and property of the residents of the City of Manassas, its visitors, the surrounding communities by delivering quality emergency care, fire suppression, fire prevention, public education, and disaster management. But as we take this collective step forward, I want to say that we could not do this without the commitment to public safety from our city leadership. And again, we will be working in the context of social distancing, but I have to point out to the citizens of the City of Manassas, we are so sorry that we had to close this ceremony. In the planning process, we had different environment, different rules, and so we closed this to the community, but we're looking forward to sharing this beautiful facility with you when the threats to our health and the community are controlled, and we're in a better position to do that, especially with our neighbors in Barrington Park and Manassas Meadows. So working in the gray area with that, we will be recording this. We're also doing Facebook Live, and we'll post this information to our social media platforms so that you can enjoy this day with us. At this time, I'm going to ask that you please stand with me for the posting of our colors, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, both performed by the City of Manassas Fire Department on record. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Standing for our invocation by Pastor Tony Lewis with the Light of Light Church and the Interfaith Council.
Eternal God in heaven, Father, we thank you for allowing us to be in this place, in this atmosphere right now. God, what a beautiful day that you've blessed us with, a day that we have never seen and will never see again. But God, we think it and count it all a blessing because we're here. We ask that you bless all that was involved in this, restore back to those who labored over this building. God, we pray for those that you restore back to those who will work here. And God, protect the men and women of this department. Protect the chief. Protect all of those firefighters, even those who clean this building, God. We ask that you put a hedge of protection around them. Restore back everything in this community that may have been lacked. But God, we know that you can restore and fix anything. We pray this prayer, believing by faith that it will be done. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
Pastor Lewis, thank you so much for that. I'm going to take a few liberties. You guys can be seated. I'm going to take a few liberties since I do own the microphone up here, but I'm going to call out Pastor Lewis for a moment. In my short tenure in the city, I met Pastor Lewis. Many of you all don't know this, but when the pandemic first hit and we started all of our social distancing restrictions, Pastor Lewis and his congregation were some of the first folks to bring food to the men and women at Fire Station 1 and Fire Station 21 during that time. And I want to publicly thank you for that. We really appreciate that effort. Okay, so we broke ground today on this facility, or we broke ground on this facility November 15th, 2019. December 3rd, 2019, the first truckload of dirt was removed from the property. And believe it or not, 3,000 truckloads of dirt later, The footers were first laid for this facility on January the 16th, and the first block to erect this beautiful building was on January the 27th. We now have a beautiful, functional fire station that, as I see, is in keeping with the city's historic heart and modern beat. Historic in that the building with the historical architecture design of the Old Town Hall, and historic because of the continued partnership with the Greater Manassas Volunteer Rescue Squad. Modern in that the building has the advances today of a modern fire station design and construction, and it has a focus on health and wellness. But as the city and the population in the city continues to grow, as the business community continues to grow, our fire rescue services needs to grow with it, and to ensure that we have the appropriate medical response. And I share with our men and women all the time that seconds count in our arena, and we don't often get second chances, so it's important that we are positioned well. With strategic planning, we identified a need to increase our response times to the areas south of the train tracks and to the airport, and this facility positions us well to do just that. I can't say enough how much we appreciate the city's leadership and commitment to public safety, police, fire, and emergency management. And I'll share a quick story, if you don't mind, because as we talk about the city's commitment, you can't get away from the idea of what the city values. And a story was shared to me by a project team member who did not want to come up and share it, so if I bang it up, it's on him. But when we talk about values, we all understand that money is not the most important thing in the world, right? But it ranks right up there with oxygen, though, doesn't it? And we went through a process early on in this project of value engineering. And the decisions were to identify ways to cut costs, but maintain functionality, maintain performance of the building. And as staff went through that value engineering process, they looked at things. This beautiful epoxy floor, instead of the cost for this floor, there could be a polished concrete. Oh, you'll look up and you'll see 4 fans, right? Do we need 4 fans? Maybe we can cut back to 2. As you tour the facility, you're going to see some really comfortable furniture. Well, there was thought consideration to, do we need that level of quality furniture? So as we went through, or the project team went through that value engineering process, they came away with a decision and brought that to city leadership. Then city leadership had an opportunity to weigh in on their values. And their values were a commitment to this community for public safety, a commitment to the men and women of the City of Manassas Fire and Rescue Department, and a commitment to their promise to make sure that we're positioned well. And so the decision was made thereafter that we would continue to construct and erect this building as originally designed. And to me, that's showing value. And oftentimes we get a lot of people that talk about value, right? And want to tell you what they value. But I'm from the position of, don't tell me what you value. Show me where you put your money, and then I'll tell you what you value. And the city has made that very clear to us, and we're very grateful and thankful for that. So I'm going to pause there, but I'm going to invite up our Honorable Mayor Michelle Davis-Younger to come forward for the station dedication and a few remarks. And as she comes up, I want to acknowledge her on her great historic election victory as she begins her tenure as the mayor of the City of Manassas. Mayor.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's so great to see so many people out for this wonderful occasion. This is indeed a great day for our city and a long time coming. We all know that. I'm so happy to be here to dedicate this facility that will help save lives in our community. But first, I want to recognize a few important people we have here with us today. So we have the members of our City Council. We have Vice Mayor Pam Sebesky here. Stand and wave. Councilmember Mark Wolf is here. Councilmember Ralph Smith. There he is. Councilmember Teresa Coates Ellis is here. Councilmember Tom Osina. Councilmember David Farajalahi, and former Councilmember Ian Lovejoy. I know I saw you earlier. We have former Mayor Hal Parrish could not be with us today, but he did send his regards. We also have city official Mr. Pat Pate is here, Brian Foster, our city deputy city manager, and Mr. Scott Moran, Public Works Director. Let's see, somewhere, oh, there you are. Looking in the wrong direction. So what does this bright, beautiful new fire station mean for this community? Well, it means having 2 fire and rescue stations located in different parts of the city that will help get our first responders to the sides of those who need them more quickly and efficiently when they are most needed. Response time is huge, as Fire Chief just said, when seconds count. In a life-saving situation, the difference between life and death is moments, not minutes. This new fire station will help the city reach that goal. But not only that, a fire and rescue station means more to a community than fighting fires and saving lives. It means safety. Feeling safe in our community is what we all hope for. And with the opening of Station 21, I know I feel more safe in the knowledge that should I need them, these ladies and gentlemen will be on their way quickly with the equipment that they need to render that aid. Now, it is my great honor to dedicate this building today by reading what is on the plaque on the wall inside, just inside there. When you take a tour in a few moments, one of your challenges is to find the plaque that I'm talking about. Fire Station 21-2021. In 1873, Manassas became an incorporated town in the Commonwealth of Virginia. In 1975, Manassas became an independent city. To keep the city of Manassas residents safe and healthy, the Greater Manassas Volunteer Rescue Squad, we know them as GMVRS, was established in 1966. In 2008, the City of Manassas Fire and Rescue Department was officially formed. Both organizations, along with the Manassas Volunteer Fire Company, established in 1892, became a unified system in 2010. Originally, there was 1 fire station and 1 rescue station, both known as Station 1. These stations were located about a mile apart. In an effort to be more efficient, EMS units and fire units were co-located at each station, and the GMVRS building was renamed Station 21. As the city of Manassas continued to grow with progressive businesses and diverse populations, the city saw a need to strategically relocate Fire and Rescue Station 21 to meet the needs of the community. In 2016, Fire and Rescue Station 21 was approved by the City Council, and in 2019, plans were approved. Station 21 stands today dedicated to the citizens of Manassas as a symbol of the city's commitment to public safety. With these words, I, Mayor Michelle Davis Younger, do hereby dedicate Fire and Rescue Station 21 on this 14th day of May, 2021. Applause. That I left out. Once again, I do this every time. I'm not used to doing it. Dr. Newman is also here, or did he leave? Is he still here? Oh, there you are. Okay, sorry I overlooked you. And our treasurer, Patricia Ritchie, folks, is also here. Thank you.
I'll take care of that. You know, the mayor and I, we had talked about making sure we cover each other, and I picked up those folks, and I picked up a few more that I want to knock out. Dale Barton, Kenbridge Construction, where are you, Dale? Dale's the project manager out here. He's the one that cracked the whip, and he did a great job at that. We also have some of my peer fire chiefs. I have not seen Fire Chief Tim King, but I have seen Assistant Fire Chief from Manassas Park, Adam Jones. Adams, thank you for showing up. I have my new best good friend, Police Chief Doug King, in Public Safety. Thank you for being here. And an important member who could not be here is retired Battalion Chief Jerry Smith. Jerry Smith has been with the City of Manassas Farmers. Oh, there, you know what? He's out of uniform. Jerry, come on forward, sir. Hey, this is really important because Jerry is a firefighter, Battalion Chief, great guy, but he's also very good at construction. And he's very good at details and to make sure that the facility functions well for us. Thank you for that. And we also have, and this is important, we're a young department, but we're starting to see the evolution of our organization, and we have retired Assistant Fire Chief Wade House. Where are you, Wade? There he is. Wade was what I call one of the originals. He was part of the Manassas Volunteer Fire Company as a youth, came up through the system. Then when we became a fire department, he joined us as an assistant chief and then retired. And so that's part of the growth and evolution of our system that we're seeing in personnel, just like we're seeing in our infrastructure. So I'm so glad he could be here with us. And then, of course, I have the rest of my fire department family that's working today, battalion chiefs and all of those good folks. And I'll catch up on a few of you that I know are going to come in here a little bit later. So I'm going to pause there again, and I'm going to call up retired Fire Chief Rob Clemons. Rob served the city of Manassas for over 4 years until he retired in summer of 2020, but he has graciously come back to visit with us, and we are honored to have him share a few words on the development of this project. Chief Clemons was instrumental in the initial design, and his vision has a lot to do with establishing the specifications of this shelter. Rob, would you please come out?
Hearing that retired, I'm still kind of getting used to that. To be honest with you, I don't know if you're ever retired, but so that way a little bit. And Wade House is not. He is an institution, is what Wade House is. He absolutely is. So it's good to see him here today. But thank you, Chief Garrett, for the introduction and the invitation to be here back in Manassas for a visit. And I have missed everyone, I will tell you. Yesterday, or this morning, I actually went for a run around the city, as I often did as the fire chief. And I will tell you, I miss living on Zebedee Street. I miss being able to walk out the front door and just go into Old Town and visit all the restaurants and all of that. This is a very special place. It remains a special place to me and my wife, Melissa, even though we're living in a pretty nice place in Surfside Beach, South Carolina, but there's no place like Manassas, and we do miss it. And I still love this city, and I still love this fire department. So I am very appreciative, and I feel very honored to, can you hear me? A lot of feedback. I'm very appreciative, and I feel very honored to be here at this ribbon-cutting ceremony for the new Station 21. This is a long-awaited day, and this is a proud moment for the fire and rescue system, this city, and the community members. And we're standing here in this modern, safe, and beautiful fire station because of the efforts of many people in bringing the vision of this station to reality. And it took a lot of work. It took a lot of work from a very dedicated team to see this project through. And yes, there were challenges, but as we always do in the city of Manassas, we all work together to solve those challenges no matter what department you worked for. And as Chief Garrett and I spoke the other day, and he asked me if I would come and say a few words, obviously I said yes. I've been waiting for this day for a long time myself. I did ask him if it would be okay if I would talk to all of you about the how instead of the why. I think all of us in this room understand the reason why this fire station was built and the reason why it is here. But many of you may not know the how we got here. So I'm going to take a few minutes to talk about the how. Because the how we got here makes me extremely proud to have been part of the planning and the construction of Station 21. So I'm going to take a few minutes to give some folks some credit on how this station came about. I knew when Mr. Pate gave me the opportunity to be the fire chief for the city of Manassas that there was a new fire station that was approved by City Council. But I really knew nothing more than that. As I started to have discussions with retired Chief Brett Bowman and retired Deputy Chief Wade House, I realized very quickly that this building was just getting started. And by the way, I would be remiss if I did not mention retired Chief Bowman. I did talk with him yesterday over text. He had a previous engagement, but I do know that he is extremely proud that this day has come to fruition, and he wanted me to express that to everyone. He's sorry he couldn't be here for this event. The city had secured funding. The building had retired or had retained an architectural firm, but the planning process for this building was just beginning. So after talking with Mr. Pate, he assigned Mr. Foster as the city's lead for this project, and then he suggested that I reach out to Community Development Director Liz Villagasman, and I see Liz in the background there. So that is exactly what I did, and it turned out to be one of the best phone calls I ever made as the fire chief. I vividly remember the meeting with Liz and her team, Matt Arcieri, I see Matt in the back, and Kelly Davis. Kelly left the city, I don't know, a year ago, I'm not for sure, but Kelly was instrumental in that meeting. We had a meeting at fire department headquarters, at the big table that used to be in fire department headquarters, and we all looked at each other and said, well, here we go, we're going to build a fire station. I'd never built a shed, and now I'm getting ready to build a fire station. Although we were all extremely excited, we knew that there was a lot of work to do. So we started talking about who were our stakeholders, who needed to be involved in the planning process, and began the process to develop the framework of how we were going to handle this project. I felt a sense of relief after that meeting because I'd only been the fire chief for maybe 2 months, and I needed some reassurance because there was a lot going on. Liz and her team gave me that, and I will always be grateful for that. Because from that day forward, me and Liz and Matt and Kelly, and as Chief Garrett already mentioned, we brought on retired, which he just retired, Battalion Chief Jerry Smith hiding in the back. He became part of our team, and we became a cohesive team. And collectively, we dealt with all of the challenges that we were faced. I am so appreciative to all of the members of that team. From that meeting with Liz and the team, we knew that there were going to be some key folks that we needed to start some regular dialogue. First and foremost was leadership with the Greater Manassas Volunteer Rescue Squad, and specifically President Pete Rockx, because this new station is also their new home. They're moving from a home that they've been in 51 years. In 51 years, so they had to be part of the planning process in a place that they were going to live. Our architects from Samaha Associates, Tom Lee and Ken Cahoon, I see Ken back here. I understand Tom just had a baby today. This morning. Which, no excuse for him not to be here. But Ken, thank you for coming. We appreciate it. And congratulate Tom. I cannot say enough about the working relationship that we had with Tom and everyone associated with Samaha. They were so professional and patient with us and always took the time to answer our questions and truly listen to our wants and our needs, and then our reality of what we could afford and what we could do. Their professionalism was tested when the original site for the station was changed from the Round Elementary site to the site that we are on now. We had already worked with concept drawings for the station, a station that would fit on the Round Elementary site, and all of this changed because of multiple community meetings and concerns that some of the citizens had with the proximity to the Round Elementary School. City Council, Mr. Pate, listened to our community, and then they gave us direction to explore alternative sites that would accomplish our response time goals that Chief Garrett had already talked about. We began the process with Margaret Montgomery. I don't see Margaret here, but she is the city's information technology GIS person. Ultimately, we decided on this location, and this would work for the station, and we would be able to meet the current and future needs. We had our site picked, our station design completed, and then the next challenge came up. And that challenge happened one day when I was in Mr. Pate's office. I'm sure Mr. Pate even remembers this, but I'm going to remind him of it. I was in his office. I was presenting my quarterly department head report. When I finished my report, Mr. Pate, out of the blue, said to me, Mayor Parrish doesn't like the new design of the fire station. And I questioned, well, what does he like about it? And as the dialogue went back and forth a bit, the bottom line was, and Chief Garrett's already somewhat mentioned this, that he did not like the modern look of the station. Although it was beautiful, he didn't like the modern look of it and felt that the current design did not represent the city's historic part in modern being. At that moment, the design of the station that we are sitting and standing in now was conceived. And I don't know if Mr. Pate planned this or if it was spontaneous, but during our conversation, he turned his head, he looked out the window, and he said, we need to build a building something like that. And that was Old Town Hall and the Manassas Volunteer Fire Company Station, the old station. I left his office. I went and took a bunch of pictures because I'm like, that's why he's a city manager and I'm not, because that's a great idea. Took a bunch of pictures. I sent them to Tom and said, Tom, Lee, this is the type of station that we need to build. And from that point forward, Tom and Ken took the reins, and I will tell you, wow, did they deliver as we stand in this beautiful facility. I could go on and on, really, with a lot of stories like that and how we got here, from community leaders to city council member conversations to conversations with all of the folks in the back of the room. But for the sake of time, I'm just going to recognize a few people. And some of this may be repetitive, but I do think it's important, and it'll make me feel better to recognize. One of them was a civil engineer, Ross France, Tom Duger. I don't see Tom here, but Tom was instrumental in, as we started to plan and do all the civil engineering, because we had to switch from the Round Elementary site to this site, and this site had its own challenges. So Tom deserves credit. Our city engineer, Michelle Brickner, I don't believe Michelle, I think she's moved on from the city, but I do think it is worth mentioning her, because her and her team, I mean, they were many, many meetings at City Hall with her and her team, along with Liz and our team. And then we get into Public Works. And Tim Fitzwater is standing in the back of the room, and he really didn't want me to say anything, but too bad I'm retired and I'm leaving, so it doesn't matter. But I have to tell you, Tim was instrumental in this building happening today. I will tell you, I didn't know what I was doing. I was trying to do my best and figure things out as a new fire chief and someone building a fire station. Tim called me and said, I got you, Rob. And we had meeting after meeting after meeting about this fire station, the value engineering piece. You know, what was the document called again, Tim, that we went through?
The schedule values.
Schedule values. We went through that thing line by line. Tim is a taskmaster, and he is very, very detailed. And that's what I need. So when we would go report to Mr. Foster, we'd go report to Mr. Pate. I had something to do with that, but a lot of that was Tim Fitzwater. And he deserves credit for that, and Tim, I really appreciate that. Man, you kept us on track. And then Scott Moran. When Scott got the job as the Public Works Director, it was really our team. It was Tim. There was a bunch of us working. Scott came in, and I remember Scott said, Rob, you can go back to being fire chief. I got this. And I was like, thank you, dear Lord. So, but the point I'm making is it worked. Everybody came together to make sure that this firehouse happened. And it happened with money that was allotted, and it was going to turn out to be this beautiful building. So, Scott, I appreciate that. Our general contractor, Cambridge Construction, our project manager, Mike Bender, and Superintendent Dale Barton. You know, they were awesome to deal with. Every meeting that I had with them, and I will tell you, I'll never forget. We were standing on, well, we were at the airport, and the first time I had met Dale, you know, Dale said, well, I'll tell you right now, I used to teach masonry skills or in college, and he goes, I'll tell you one thing, there's a lot of masonry in this building, and they're not getting away with anything on it. I went, yeah, that's kind of got me. And they didn't. It looks beautiful, and I can remember coming by here sometimes, and Dale had them had the subs and just everybody on task. I think the pride that you all showed, it was not just another building. And I really appreciate that, because we're going to be here for a long time. So thank you both for that. Bill Downey, with Downey and Scott, when we hired that construction management company, that was huge in discussions that we had to kind of help all of us as we went through this major project. And obviously, Chief Garrett's already mentioned this, the command staff with the City of Manassas Fire and Rescue Department, Deputy Chief Todd Lupton, the Battalion Chiefs Mark Berry, Kevin Franzello, and again, a special thank you to Jerry Smith, all the Battalion Chiefs, really everybody. We wear a lot of hats, and I know Jerry knows how much I appreciate everything that he did. And then certainly the volunteers with the Greater Manassas Volunteer Rescue Squad as we work through those. I could go on and on with a lot of people, but I would be remiss if I did not mention Steve Corbett. You know, it's sad, you know, with Steve Corbin's passing, but, you know, the fact is, Steve, just right from the beginning of all of this, you know, he was instrumental in the RFP process and really, you know, opened up all the sealed bids there at Public Works, and, you know, he put a lot of time into this building. So he's definitely worth mentioning and thanking. So, Station 21 will respond to many emergency incidents, and it's going to impact the lives of many people. I don't know why I'm getting so emotional. Didn't see that coming. Kind of embarrassing thing. Cut that from the video. The journey really getting here today, it had its twists and its turns and a lot of challenges, but I have no idea why I'm so emotional. I apologize for that. So it was a lot of work, tremendous lot of work from a lot of people, but we ended up and we did it. The definition of a fire station is this. It's the facility where fire engines and other equipment of a fire department are housed. But it is more than that definition. It is a place where fathers and mothers and sons and daughters, family members, and members of our community, career and volunteer, come to serve the public. And they give up themselves every single day. And they know that when they come in this building, it can be their last day. So, to have a building like this, City of Manassas Fire and Rescue Department, Greater Manassas Volunteer Rescue Squad, Station 21, allows all of these folks to come in this building and to feel safe and protected as they roll out those beautiful barn doors to respond to emergency. So, sorry for getting so emotional. I did not see that coming, but I really appreciate it, and we thank everyone for all the work that they did here. So thank you.
Wow, if there was a mic drop moment, that was it. And I'm so glad I do not have to come up behind that. So I'm going to give that to President Rockx. Pete Rockx of the Greater Manassas Volunteer Rescue Squad. Pete and his family moved to Manassas 30 years ago from the Rocky Mountain region, where he worked for the U.S. Forest Service as an HR specialist. After retiring from the USDA in 2008, Pete started his volunteer career by following his son's footsteps by joining the Greater Manassas Volunteer Rescue Squad and becoming an EMT. Pete's son, an Osborne High and GMU graduate, is a firefighter medic in Denver. Pete has been a member of GMVRS for over 12 years and is its president for the last 7 years. Pete, would you please come up and share with us?
What Chief Garrett didn't mention, when he mentioned my son, my wife and I, son, her son. Got to give her credit. But he is certainly a firefighter medic in Denver, South Metro Fire Department, in fact. But guess what station number he's assigned to? 21. The family. He, by the way, is coming out for a visit next week, so I'm going to get to give him a tour. So thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to share some thoughts and reflections as we celebrate another milestone in the history of the fire and EMS in the city of Manassas. Just 18 months ago, just about the very day that many of us sat under an event tent at this very site to celebrate the groundbreaking of this beautiful station. As the expression goes, we've come a long way in that short amount of time. While the opening of the new Fire Station 521 will provide volunteers and career staff with an improved and safer work environment, I can't help but feel a sense of nostalgia as I look back over the 50-plus years our citizens were served in the old station. Anyone who has had to move after being in one location any length of time knows, or soon finds out, how much stuff they've accumulated over the years. Certainly that has been true, as the GMVRS has, and it's still going through that process. That sorting process often leads to some interesting finds. You know, like 300 new crab mallets, like this. 3 boxes, 100 in each, minus 1, that we found in the attic that have since been sold to a local restaurant. That was a fundraiser that probably didn't work out very well, from what I've been told. So, another find is the original banknote for the $20,000 loan used to build the original rescue station back in 1970, $20,000. And the minutes from the first board of directors meeting in 1966. I also found metal first aid boxes. Again, another attic find. I have one of them here. It has MVRS in it. And some very old-looking bandage and other trauma equipment. That's a BLS bag of years gone by. In fact, if you were to go into the side of Creamy, you'd find a box that looks very much like that in our antique ambulance. I'm very proud of it. So, but the most important finds were pictures of former squad and auxiliary members and officers. Many of them are no longer with us, like Jim and Sandy Clark, John Hutton, and Shirley Ornbaugh, Woody Merchant, Harry Witch Everly. Each former member, whether they are still living or have passed, had a story. And a good part of that story took place in Rescue 1 at 9322 Center Street, where they spent many hours training, conducting squad business, socializing, and most of all, serving the community as EMS providers. While the new station stands ready to become a place where new members will be made by our current squad members, we wouldn't be here without remembering and honoring those that have gone before us. I'm pleased that we've been able to do that by placing a number of the squad's plaques and awards, many with the names of past and current honorees, in the trophy case, you take your tour today, and on the walls in our office here at Fire Station 521. So in closing, it's important to say that in order for an organization to thrive, it must adapt and persevere in the face of change. I believe the GMVRS has done this over the years, and that is why we can stand here today, together with the city's Fire and Rescue Department, committed to providing high-quality EMS services by our volunteer members to our community at the new Fire Station 521. On every call, on every day we staff, for years to come. Thank you.
All right. Our good friend, Ken Cahoon, and I smile when I say that, because when he was coming in, Ken's going to fill in for a few words for some architect, and he's going to fill in for Tom, but I wanted to get his name right. And I say, hey, how do you pronounce your last name? He goes, Cahoon, like the big kahuna. Got it. So please welcome Ken, the big kahuna.
Thank you. Yes, I'm air compressor, I think I'm going off. Tom couldn't make it today. He had a baby this morning, and everybody's healthy and happy, so I think they're all catching up on some rest, so I'm here standing in. One of the things, listening to everybody else talk, there's this saying that architects like to use from Winston Churchill, that we shape our buildings and then our buildings shape us. So we all shape this building, or the people that came before us helped shape this building, and now this building is going to shape the community, and I think that's why it means so much to so many of us. This has been a fantastic project to work on. The city staff has been amazing to work with. Ken Bridge is fantastic to work with. All of our consultants, Ross Franz, Ascent Engineering, did the MEP, Ellard Bryant, Mechanical.
clean that up a little bit. You all did see the movie Pulp Fiction, right? The big Kahuna burger? Okay, all right. Thank you, Candy. All right, so in the interest of time, I'm going to hold an opportunity to walk through a lot of the unique features of this building. We have staff here, and as you tour, I'm sure they'll fill your cup up with all of the good things, the good features of this building. But I am going to take liberty to do a little something here. I'm going to ask the mayor to come up for a second, and we have something for her, a small token of our appreciation, and for the future leadership that she's going to show the City of Manassas Fire and Rescue Department. Yes. Yes, it just may mess up your hair. Okay, so, Honorable Mayor, because of the city's continued support to the City of Manassas Fire and Rescue System, ensuring that we have the equipment and infrastructure we need to successfully meet our mission, we would like to present to you your first helmet, making you an honorary member of the City of Manassas Fire and Rescue System from your friendly fire. She wants to go.
No blackmail pictures.
Yeah. You know she's going to want to jump on the rig. So, all right. So in the spirit of graciousness, and this is where I'm going to get myself in trouble because I know I'm going to miss somebody. But we want to share with you all this experience. We know it is the first fire station ever in the city, and a lot of people had their hands on this project that we could not absolutely call out by name with the specific actions or the things that you did. So what we have prepared is a gift table over to the left, and my trusted staff and very capable staff are going to assist you with picking out those gifts. If your name is not on a gift bag, but you would like a gift, then you can reach out to me directly, and I'll share that with you. So now we're going to move on to the ribbon cutting portion of our service today, and I'm going to try to walk you guys through this carefully. So the folks that the mayor identified, those folks, city council, city leadership, current and past fire chiefs, presidents, representatives from Samaha, we're going to go out those doors. Staff is going to give us a 20-foot red ribbon and a pair of shears. We're going to grab the ribbon with our non-dominant hand. When I give the count, 1, 2, 3, we're going to cut and smile. We'll take our pictures, and then that ribbon is yours to take with you. So, I'm sure if I says open sesame or something like that, those doors are going to open right now, maybe?
Like magic.
And while that's happening, let me make a couple but I need to call out some people that really made today happen. The first is going to be my two awesome admins, Mrs. Dana Campbell and Miss Melissa Hireman. Folks, they are the ones who ran this The next one, and I know he's not expecting this, Captain David Holman. Where are you, sir? Captain Holman. Come on over, please. Captain Holman, he took over this project when Battalion Chief Jerry Smith retired. And I tell you, for someone, this is not his lane to be able to work with directors, contractors, and all, but he did a phenomenal job, and I'm very appreciative of it. Thank you. And I'm going to also call up the men and women that are on shift today of the City of Manassas Fire and Rescue. All right, guys. There's Chief Lupton doing his thing here. Hey, Chief. I'd like to have the shift personnel that are working today come up. So what you're seeing right here is what happens when a firefighter gets conflicting orders. And all you have to do is remember this. I have 5 bugles, he has 4. So I need you guys to please come up. And our volunteer members, I'm sorry. Come on, our volunteer personnel as well. Please come on over. So I say this all the time, but you folks really need to get to know these folks. You need to see these folks. When there's something special that we do out in this community, it's not me. It's not Chief Luffman. It's not Mr. Pate. It's these men and women right here. These are the ones that are on the front lines day in and day out. They've gone through the COVID, we'll call it something at some point, but they got us through it. And I want to give them a big round of applause. Thank you. Okay, so as they move those scissors out and we'll grab the ribbon, I want to point out that we have light refreshments in the kitchen. We have personnel that are available to give you a tour of the facility if you'd like that. And the station goes live for emergency calls on Monday, May 17th. And I want to thank you all for participating and coming out. All right? Wow. Okay. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, cut. Hey!